An investigation is currently underway in the biggest haul of oxygen concentrators recovered from two restaurants at the Khan market and one in Lodi colony. The London link here that's emerged in the black marketing of oxygen concentrators. Owner of Matrix Cellular services, Gagan Duggal, who's based in London, has now been identified as alleged mastermind of the nexus. According to the reports, police say they may soon send a notice to him. In fact, this comes after cops nabbed the CEO of company, Gaurav, Khanna. Meanwhile, the company has cried foul over charges and approached the Delhi High Court, demanded the seized units back. The company said that concentrators were bought as part of company's CSR policy and were kept as centralized location for easy distribution. The police learned that the company used to procure concentrators from China and Hong Kong and then sell them in Delhi's black market. Gaurav was given the responsibility of handling the prices of the units. Meanwhile, Navneet Kalra, who owns many restaurants and bars in posh localities of Delhi, is still on the run. Now let's take a quick listen to the alleged conversation of Navneet Kalra, one of the key accused in the Khan market oxygen concentrator scam, making a sales pitch.
I have 2 lakh calls to attend, so I won't be able to answer each and everybody's personal questions. मैंने सारी डिटेल आपको सेल्फ एक्सप्लेनेटरी मैसेज में भेजी हुई है, कौन सा मॉडल है, क्या है. एक मशीन पर पर्सन मैं खान मार्केट वालों को दे सकता हूं उनके घर की यूज़ के लिए. और अगर किसी को भी चाहिए तो पेमेंट डिटेल्स मेरे पास मैक्सिमम 3 बजे तक भेज देंगे तो वो मशीन ब्लॉक होंगी. 3 बजे के बाद मेरी मशीन सारी खत्म हो रही है तो मैं खान मार्केट फ्रेंड्स को भी नहीं अलॉट कर पाऊंगा. सो प्लीज हेयर दिस मैसेज एंड डोंट सेंड मी कॉल्स और फॉरवर्ड्स बिकॉज आई हैव टू मच प्रेशर ऑन मी.
And now in the second COVID wave, there is one life-saving machine that is really the most talked about, and that is the oxygen concentrator. Now, here's explaining how exactly this concentrator works. Let's take a quick look.
This is an oxygen concentrator, much in demand these days. This is a 5-liter machine. This comes with a 2-year warranty. Let's unbox this machine and show you what the oxygen concentrator is and what it's capable of. So now when you take a look at this machine, read the documents very carefully. Let's now unbox this machine for you. It comes with the cannula and the humidifier. Let's take out the machine. It's about 19.5 kgs in weight. So you need perhaps 2 people to operate it. Rather simple to unbox and operate. The electricity cable around it, connect it to the power point. There is also a cable underneath. You need to cut that. That's for the compressor, not to move in transportation. I've cut that. Read the documents very carefully. The humidifier also has the minimum and maximum limit of how much water does the humidifier, how much water it should have. Let me now fill this. So this is minimum, this is maximum. This is minimum. I've filled it just a little below the maximum mark. Then tighten it carefully, see water doesn't slip, water doesn't come out of it. This is the nozzle. This is where the nozzle is supposed to be connected. You connect that. Again, make sure you're connecting it properly, no leaks. When you've checked it's been done, then you bring out the cannula. 2 sides to it. One side goes in here, and then you switch it on. It's good to go. The machine comes with a display. It's at normal right now. This lever, of course, tells you this knob at what level you want the oxygen. Your doctor will tell you how much is required. This is 5 liters. This is the maximum. You can keep taking it down to 4, 3, 2, 1. Also comes with, it's functioning normally. It's producing oxygen at the moment. And then the other side, you can just put this in your nostril and you can start breathing. This, as many say, is truly a lifesaver.
Now let me quickly cut across to Munish Pandey joining us live from Delhi. Munish, what we saw Gaurav explaining to us, this oxygen concentrator, is still a lot more credible. What we understand is that Navneet Kalra, this man Duggal, they were selling Chinese-bought oxygen concentrator type of machine. It wasn't even exactly an oxygen concentrator, not a legit one. It wasn't. It did not pass all those tests that had to be passed. Without any license, they were selling a cheap Chinese mal.
Yeah, well, Nabila, at this point of time, I'm at Khan Market, and just to give a sense, yesterday, this place, Town Hall, it is a famous landmark in posh Khan Market. This place and another place, Khan Chacha, again a very famous eatery joint. Now, both these places were raided and 96 oxygen concentrators were recovered. In last 2 days, more than 524 oxygen concentrators have been recovered. Now, what the Delhi police claims at this point of time is that Navneet Kalra was importing these oxygen concentrators from foreign countries, especially from China, through a private company with the help of his friend Duggal, who is a owner of Matrix Cellular services. Now, he was getting these oxygen concentrators at a rate of 22,000 per piece, and then he was selling in the market for at least 70,000. So 3 times he was earning the profit over these, oxygen concentrators. Now, as of now, what we have been given to understand is that Navneet Kalra is absconding. Delhi police has searched and raided multiple places in Delhi NCR region, but as of now, he is still absconding. He has not been arrested, and Delhi police sees him as a person who was black marketing and hoarding oxygen concentrators when in national capital many patients, many people were dying in hospitals and at their home because there was a lack of oxygen. Nabila.
Absolutely, Manish. It's highly unfortunate that when Delhi was gasping for breath, here are oxygen concentrators in the name of donation and philanthropy. Navneet Kalra was selling them at a much higher price than what was available at the market. Thank you very much for joining us with those details. Now, let me take you through the overall numbers of active cases in the country today. Coronavirus positive cases today, it stands at 37,23,446. The death toll in the country stands today at 2,38,270. The recovered numbers as of today stands at 1 crore or 1,79,30,960. These are numbers that's come in right this morning. Now, these are the active cases in the country. We're looking at 37,23,446. It's inching closer to the 4 million mark of active cases. Now, the death toll in the country as of today, we see at 2,38,270. You can look at the difference from November 1st, 2020, 1,22,000. We've now doubled to 2,38,270. And the recovered numbers so far, November, we saw about 74,91,000 recovered numbers. And now we see 1,79,30,000. Of course, these are the numbers of COVID-19 positive people also going up, and the number of recovered people also on the rise. Now, the southern COVID storm is wreaking havoc there in the region. Tamil Nadu government has announced a 2-week total lockdown from 10th of May. The order was issued a day after the state recorded its biggest day spike of over 26,000 new COVID infections. Until 12 p.m. during the lockdown, vegetables, meat and fish shop, provisional stores will be open. State-owned liquor shops will be closed during this lockdown. Meanwhile, Karnataka will with nearly 50,000 cases in one day, is one of the worst hit states in the nation. And looking at the spiralling cases, Yediyurappa government has announced a 14-day complete lockdown starting from 10th of May all the way to 24th of May. Kerala too has announced lockdown from today until May 16th to stem the spread. The state on Friday registered 38,460 new cases and recorded 54 deaths in last 24 hours.
The lockdown restrictions has come into effect in Kerala. Right now I'm in Thiruvananthapuram. I'm at one of the entry points into the city. As you see here, very thorough checking is happening at this point because this is actually one of the main entry points into Thiruvananthapuram city, and that is why you see a considerable police presence. Now, according to the government regulation, only essential services will be allowed today. Only essential services will be allowed, and those who are traveling as part of the essential service will have to provide their ID cards. So this is how the checking is happening, and because it's a Saturday, you do not really see too much of a crowd. Usually this is the morning hours when people would start coming into the city for various businesses, and because it's a Saturday and because it's a holiday for the government, most of the government offices, you see very few vehicles which are part of the essential services here in Thiruvananthapuram at this moment. With camera person Tinku Rajshekharan, Gopikrishnan, Thiruvananthapuram for India Today.
The state government of Tamil Nadu had announced that from May 10th till May 24th, there will be a complete lockdown in the state of Tamil Nadu. This is to ensure that the chain of COVID-19 is broken. We're seeing that there is an increase in number, and this is an imperative step that has been brought into place by the state government, a precautionary measure. And what we're seeing here in the state now is that in many places we are witnessing panic buying. Many people coming out to try buying essentials which will be required for the next 14 days. Only restaurants will have takeaway services. E-commerces like Dunzo, Swiggy and even Zomato will be operational during this lockdown period. And similarly, they've requested that all private organizations which are not essential services will have to work from home. Similarly, all the government offices, again, which are not essential services, will be seeing a shutter down at this point of time. These are all steps which have been taken by the state government to ensure that the number of COVID-19 cases is brought down. We've been seeing close to 20 to 25,000 cases on a daily basis in the state of Tamil Nadu, and this is the most important period for the state to ensure there is a control in the number. Otherwise, Tamil Nadu too will be seeing similar situations like Delhi, Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh. With camera person Daniel from Chennai, Zaksha North for India Today.
Now, as India grapples with the second wave of the COVID-19 crisis, the Indian Air Force have increased their efforts to expedite the supply of medical oxygen. Now, India's big toy C-17 Globemaster has conducted 400 sorties within the country to meet the demand right now. Let's take a look at this special report.
It's past midnight, but Hindon Air Base near Delhi is buzzing with activity. The massive heavy lift C-17 transport aircraft of the Indian Air Force touches down and takes off in quick frequency, all carrying COVID relief materials. The jumbo jets can airlift heavy oxygen containers and oxygen generators. One such flight from Israel is carrying 3 oxygen generators and cartons of 360 oxygen concentrators.
There is hectic activity here as one Indian Air Force transport aircraft has just landed from Israel carrying relief material. And what we are seeing in these big aircraft are oxygen generation plants. These plants are extremely important for hospitals where they can be installed.
This was the first Indian Air Force flight, but won't be the last, as Israel will be sending in more material, including oxygen containers.
There are 3 large oxygen generators in here, which will supply oxygen for the patients of 3 hospitals. And in addition, there are 4 pallets full of oxygen concentrators and other equipment, which will also help Indian patients. And we're very happy that this is the way our friendship with Indians, the Indian people and the Indian government is. That it's such a close and good friendship.
Till May the 7th, C-17 aircraft has conducted 400 sorties from within the country, including sorties to airlift 252 oxygen tankers with total capacity of 4,904 metric tons. The operation started in mid-April and have picked up pace over the last 20 days. Indian Air Force aircraft also conducted 59 international sorties to airlift 72 cryogenic oxygen storage containers with 1,233 metric ton capacity, along with 1,252 empty oxygen cylinders. The containers and cylinders are procured from Dubai, Bangkok, UK, Germany, Belgium, Australia, Israel and Singapore.
In days to come, these operations will continue as the Indian Air Force, along with the Indian Navy, is on a mission to make sure India is COVID-free. With camera person Anil Jaiswal from the Hindan Air Base in Ghaziabad, Abhishek Bhalla for India Today.
Now we are joined in by Air Vice Marshal Markan Ranade to discuss the efforts by Air Force in helping battle this COVID pandemic. So thank you very much for joining us. If you can take us through exactly the efforts that's been put in by the Air Force. In fact, the Air Force has been deeply involved in operations to bring oxygen tankers, relief material from across the world. Can you really give us some details as to what all has been done so far by the Air Force and what's to be done in the near future as well?
The Air Force has deployed 42 platforms, which include 12 heavy lift aircraft, that is C-17s and IL-76, and 30 medium lift aircraft, that is C-130 and AN-32s. These aircraft have been deployed on a round-the-clock 24/7 basis to bring in relief material from abroad. So far, we have done more than 65 sorties, brought in more than 75 oxygen containers and more than 1,300 oxygen cylinders from ex-India. Till now, our aircraft have gone to 8 countries, and in the next 24 hours, 2 more countries will be visited to bring in the relief supplies. We are ensuring that all tasks that have been given to the Indian Air Force are met in a professional and timely manner.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ranade, for joining us with those details. Coming up next on the other side, after COVID-19.